everybody, what's up? This is Katrina from In Cat We Trust, and I am back with another fabulous interview with another fabulous guest. And here I have with me Stevie Bae Knox. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm exhausted, but I'm good. How are you?
I am good. It's been a crazy 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a bit hectic and stressful, but I am here. I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. I know you just went to Cali, so how was that?
Oh, that was so nice. It was kind of a quick turnaround because I flew down, I started flying down Friday night, got in Saturday morning because I had a layover in Vegas and I slept on the floor. I literally went to work that day, went straight to the airport, flew to Vegas, slept in the Vegas airport, flew to California, had a day to kind of visit whatever, and then Sunday I had full queer, which so much fun. It was a good time and they want me to come back, so we're working on that. And I just need Las Vegas to book me so I have the full West Coast. Thank you.
Put that out in the universe, Vegas. Let's make it happen.
Manifest it. Yes, exactly. That's what's up.
So I we've been friends online. I want to say since the quarantine. I feel like it's 2020.
Yeah.
Like we kind of became friends online, and it kind of blossomed. And hopefully we can meet in person. But I remember when you first said you wanted to get into wrestling and you was training. So what was your initial, I guess, thought process when you was like, this is something, it's different as a fan, and I know that now. Like when you're watching as a fan, it's a lot different kind of being in it, and then you're like, okay, now this kind of makes sense, or this is a lot more than you
Yeah.
would as a fan. So what made you was like, this is something that I kind of want to get my hands
So initially, I knew I wanted to get in it because I actually sang at a wrestling show. So, this was like year or two before quarantine, and we had a little wrestling show in Salem, and they asked me to do the national anthem there. So I come out, I have a little microphone in my hand, I'm standing by the little entrance, and I just have this feeling in my chest, I need to be here. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I need to be in the ring. I don't know if I need to be, I just know I need to be here. And so that was what kind of kicked it off for me. And then I started talking to different places, kind of trying to scope it out. And at the time, not only was there not really anywhere near me that I could go to, I don't have a car. So going to a place that's an hour and a half away from me is not really feasible.
to. Yeah.
So I had to wait. And then OP Dub opened up. And then again, money was a thing. And then I kind of fell into ring announcing because a friend of mine, my friend Aaron, runs Reactivate in Washington. And we started talking about me ring announcing completely separately from me training. And then I was at a show, talked to a friend, and this lady literally says to me, I have some money set aside that I'm not doing anything with, and you are somebody that has passion for this, and I can see that, and I want to help you. And so she got me into training for a little bit. And so now I'm kind of at that point where I'm kind of trying to figure out the finances part of it again. But now I'm ring announcing and stuff. So I'm sort of in it anyway. It kind of worked out. But I still want to get back in there. This isn't the end. I'm getting back in there. Just a matter of time.
That's super awesome that you had somebody in your corner like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's still, the whole thing still gives me chills because I wasn't expecting it. It just happened.
And would you say, as far as the training aspect from training and then even having to, be in front of people, because that's one of that's one of my things. I don't particularly like public speaking. I don't particularly like being on camera, which is a really weird thing when I do all these wrestling type things. But I don't like being on camera. I don't like really public speaking, but then it's I kind of have to now. And so,
Yeah.
do you think this is the ring announcing part is harder, or is the training aspect harder as far as knowing that it's not only getting the athleticism part right and kind of learning the moveset, but also whatever your character will eventually be?
You know, I kind of have a little bit of an edge as far as the public speaking goes because before all of this, I was into music and I sang in front of people. So, like, that part of it, it still makes me nervous. Like, don't get me wrong, I get nerves all the time. Sunday, oh my God, I was so nervous. And we were outside. It was my first outdoor show. So I'm just like, ah, you know. But my thing is, once I get out there, I feed into everybody's energy. Like I'm somebody that matches energy. So like I get out there and I like kind of stand there for a second and then I just kind of breathe and I feel it all in and then I just go. And then after that, I'm good because I just have that crowd energy.
Okay, yeah, I did an outside show last year. I guess this was last year, and it's different. It definitely is, just because you kind of make sure your voice carry over the noise, and I feel like noise is more open when you're outside
Yeah.
rather than when you're inside and it's a little bit more contained. But yeah, that's awesome. So, have there been anybody you've been taking inspiration from? I feel like, there's not as many women as we can have in, like ring announcing or just wrestling, like the behind the scenes stuff. Like it's one thing for the wrestlers, but then to have like the commentator or the ring announcer or the photographers and stuff like that. We're out there, obviously,
We
but
are out here. We're out here.
obviously we
um,
have a lot more. And so, have there's anybody you've taken inspiration from as far as kind of getting what you need to get to when you're doing the ring announcing?
so I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound very suck uppy, but it's accurate. So before I even started doing this, I was very inspired by you.
Oh.
Like I saw you like interviewing people and I was like, wait, she does what? And then like I saw you doing that and I was like, that's really cool. And then I saw you doing like the backstage interviews at shows. And I was like, wow, like she's really taking it up. Okay, I see you. Let's go. And then like the first time you were ring announcing and I had already started and I was just like, hey, I don't overstep any boundaries, but if you need any help, I'm right here. Like, but like on a like in an I don't want to call it a smaller scale because I feel like we're all here to do the same thing, but like definitely was inspired by you a little bit. As far as like nationally, like TV, things like that. I really like Alicia Taylor on NXT. I really dig Lillian Garcia, GOAT, period. um, and there's also like quite a few announcers like around me now that have been kind of not necessarily like completely in my ear, but they've been like kind of pushing me along the way.
Yeah.
Like JB Bressler for DOA, like he's been helping me out a whole ton. Um, Garrett, who used to, or he's known as G-Shock, but he used to do PAL, which I'm doing now. He's kind of helped me out a bit. Evie Kiyoshi, who usually does Prestige, that man, he's fantastic. And he's like kind of helped me out a little bit too. So like I take bits of inspiration from a lot of people from a lot of different areas.
Okay. Well, first, thank you. I remember you kind of mentioned that before, and I was like, wait, what? And in my head, it's always like I'm such a small person compared to all the other people I know. And the East Coast is actually insanely a lot. Sometimes when you're like, like, oh, this person's gonna probably have this because of how like it's big, but it's also very small. If that makes sense. And so
Oh, it
I'm
does.
always
It's like that over here too.
it's oh my god, but it's also like you know certain faces going to be in certain things because it's how long they've been doing it, and how they built up their reputation of doing what they do. And so that I was just like, oh my god, like really, because I'm such a small I feel like I'm such a small fish in a really huge pond. I'm just trying to hopefully
Well,
really
no, dude, you've been doing the work and you deserve your flowers. So here they are. Just saying, dude. Like, I'm very observant, you know?
So I know you have what I consider a pretty awesome job. I know you like you do the wrestling, but then you also do your butt tending, which
Yeah.
the fact that I'm kind of seeing that a lot more recently for those who do partake in that. I'm not really a person like I might eat an edible like once in a while, but I just don't. But like for those who do it for whatever reason that they do it, it's always kind of nice that we have that now like kind of available where it's not like some guy, you know,
Yeah, you're not like
random
sitting in a
dude, like
parking
you gotta
lot.
call the homie and be like, bro, like whatever the
Mhm.
case, and it's kind of just available. And so, how did you kind of, get into doing that, and like how even aspects from kind of doing that and then incorporating that into when you're public speaking and wrestling?
So there are so many different people that have come through my shops. I've worked at a few different ones, but like there are so many people, wrestling fans themselves. Like I remember the last shop I worked at, this dude came in a Danhausen shirt, and immediately I was like, "I'm stealing you. Get over here." And then the next time he came in wearing one of Drexel's shirts. He's one of the local guys around here, and I was like, "Yep, you come over here, okay." Or sometimes like people in my crew themselves will come through. So like, and there are people within the industry that are in the industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very much intertwined, which I like a lot because I think weed and wrestling really do bring people together. Even if you don't partake, like people seem to be more accepting of it than say like, well, okay, I would say that and alcohol are about 50-50, but weed is slowly taking over, which I can dig. But it's
Yeah.
not hard to intertwine those because there's so many people I know within the community that
Yeah.
either partake a lot or are also weed industry like me, and then that gets really fun.
Awesome, awesome. So, is there any advice that you've gotten? I feel like I've gotten some pretty like solid gems since I've started, but some advice you've gotten since you've started in wrestling that you kind of hold really dear to you.
Oh, absolutely. There's a few pieces. Um, the first one that kind of really sticks out in my head because it's something that I really use, like especially now, like I use it all the time. My good homie Derek Shaw once told me, if there is one thing that you know that you are really good at, do the out of it. Do stick to that thing and do the out of it because obviously that's something you're good at and that's what's going to get you noticed. So, taking that and running with it. There's that. And then there was another time that I was at PAL. And this was pretty recently, actually. It was like when I first started, it was before I knew that I was there permanently.
Yeah.
And one of the performers there was like, "Hey," he's like, I'm gonna be really honest with you. He's like, "I didn't know why they picked you." I'm like, "Okay, that's fair. That's really fair." He's like, "And then you got out there and started doing your thing." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "It was good, except," I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Everybody's trying to do the gravelly Vince McMahon thing. Don't do that. Just be yourself." I'm like, "Okay." Absolutely, done and done. And because I thought about it, because at that point I'm still playing with that aspect a little bit as far as like differentiating like heels and faces and not trying to be like monotone. You know how it is. You get
Yeah.
it. You know what's up. Just to not make it boring. Um, but essentially he was just like, just go out there and be yourself. Be yourself. And those two pieces of advice are what's like really keeping me solid right now.
I like that. I feel like that's something I haven't done as many ring announcing because I'm usually a backstage person, and I think my voice is more soft spoken, and so it's kind of, or it's like I gotta make sure I like speak louder because it's like not even on purpose. Even if I'm angry, if I'm like arguing, my voice sounds really soft, and so like I'm angry and you're probably not taking it seriously because my voice sounds really soft, and so it's kind of hard to kind of keep that in mind, like kind of project a little more. So hopefully I'm trying. That's the goal for this year is to make sure I can do better with that. Because backstage stuff now is easy. It's like okay, now I just turn it on and then turn it off, and wrestlers do whatever they do, and I'm like, oh okay, and they're like, you're good. I'm like, yeah, I know you use a gimmick. I take nothing personal during the gimmick. I don't.
Right. It's like you're just doing you. Okay, that's fine. Dude,
Yeah.
dude, one of my first DOA shows, nobody told me they were taking the mic from me, and I didn't even think about anybody messing with me or anything. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna go up and do my thing. No. No. One of the heels like comes up and just snatches the mic from me, and I'm like, excuse me? What? Am I being punked right now? Like, what just happened? And then later on, he just looks at me and he's like, heel shit. I'm like, ah, okay. I know that now for next time. Thank you.
Yeah, that happened at my ring announcer thing too. It was like I wasn't prepared. Backstage stuff, I feel like now I know. So like the last show, it was kind of crazy. Got through a chair. And he's like, "You didn't have a butt." I was like, "I didn't think he was gonna do that," but I also expected there was gonna be something crazy because the way everybody was looking. And so I'm like, I kind of prepared myself that don't react, just do my job. And then they was like, "You did it so well. You just didn't face it." I'm like, "I do this and now." In the first, you did this like a year ago. I'd be like, "Wait, what?" I would have been like, wait, why are we throwing chairs? Forgetting that again gimmick, and so now it's a little easier to kind of go back and forth between that. But what are like summer? I mean, I know you've done like you're pretty recent, as I call myself pretty recent in this too. But like, what are some of your favorite shows you've been able to do so far? That just something where it's just like you look back on it and you're like, oh, this is just so freaking amazing.
So full queer definitely, because that one's like recent. My very first DOA show was the Queen of Thorns tournament last year. And that was really cool because they basically took all of the female talent, femme talent. I'm not binary, but you know, I just use the femme. But anyway, so DOAs that are Queen of Thorns is definitely one because also one of our graduates from OPW, Amira, it was her first match, and I got to announce her first match. And her and I used to sit next to each other at the show, so it was really cool and really surreal to like stand up there and then like watch her come out and get all the streamers. Like I was just like, yeah, girl, yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, and like obviously I can't say that because I'm standing in the microphone and I can't react. But I'm just like, yes, yep. But those two definitely stick out in my mind. Anytime I'm at POW, it's always a good time because there's like some wacky, zany things going on. And there, I kind of do double duty because I do backstage there. That's the only promotion that I've done backstage at so far, but I'm open to doing it elsewhere. But it's always a fun time at POW because, like, I mean, generally in wrestling, you never really know what happens, but that's one of the ones you definitely, like, you never know. And DOA is kind of like that too, in a way. Like, I can think of a few, but the two that stand out to me the most at the moment are definitely full queer in that first Queen of Thorns tournament. Those are my two absolute favorites, for sure.
Okay. And I always like I have dream people I would love to interview, like just people like if I can get that interview, if I like retire after that, I can do that. And I'm like, yay. I mean, I'm kind of semi joking, but there are certain people like my dream people.
It's like you get Mercedes, I'm done. That's it. I'm done.
Like, I don't know. I can retire now. Like I got hip. Like what else do I need to do? But are there people you would love to kind of just be the there's like in New York, in Jersey area where I'm at, this ring announcer's named Shane. He has like when there's people he kind of checks off like I've always wanted to announce it, and then he announces it, and it's like a moment. And so, is there anybody you would love to announce as like a dream wrestler you would love to announce in the ring?
I have never thought about it actually until you just mentioned it. So I might have to get back to you on that because I never really think about it. I'm just like, I just kind of do my thing. Like I'll go to a show, and what's cool is that because I work with so many of these people all the time anyway, I have most of their intros memorized. So I don't have to gather as much information, which is great. But usually I'm just like, I'll go out there and I'm just like, tell me whatever you want me to say within reason. And I'll say so, like, I've had really fun ones, but I don't necessarily have a dream person to announce. I just like to do it. As long as you give me something that isn't too boring, I am good. And there's some people that are just like, I just want you to say my name and where I'm from and how much I weigh. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll do that. And so I do. And then there's other people that are like, I want you to say I'm riding in from the Evergreen State, you know, weighing in at 420 pounds and 69 ounces. Like, okay. Okay. Like, that's what you want me to say. All right. Like, let's go.
Okay. So I'm a firm believer in, in the age of social media that we are all in. And while it is also, it's a blessing, it is, because I got to meet, you, but so many other people that I got to, or things I got to do because of social media. But it can also be a bit of a curse in ways too. And so I'm a firm believer in like having time to either decompress or kind of have a day or something to do for self care. So what are some things you do that when you need to kind of decompress, recharge, and kind of just center yourself that you do that's not wrestling?
That's not wrestling. Oh, I got you. I mean, as we were talking about earlier, I'm a budtender, so I mean, do two and two together. Lots of bong hits, my blanket, true crime documentaries, or horror movies, or stoner comedies, something in that combination or realm of things, or even trash TV, because I don't want to think. So I just turn that on and take a nap. That's how I decompress.
You mentioned the horror movies, and I'm a big horror fan. As well as a good true crime. I said, love me some good true crime because I'm sitting here like, girl, this he deserves.
I know we are way too far apart. Like this is crap. This is crap. We need to hang out.
I feel like this has to happen at some point. Where we have
someone book us together, please, so we can hang out. Thank you. Yeah. Putting that out into the universe too.
So many things we have in common. So many things. Well, what are some of your favorite like horror movies? Your favorite true crime? Like, what is your top true crime podcast if you listen to those?
Yeah, so I've been really into. I watch Kendall Ray a lot. The Mile High. I like Stephanie Harlow too, and I watch a lot of YouTube, obviously. 10 to Life with Annie Elise is another one I really enjoy. And I started watching her Serialously. I could say it. Serialously series. That's pretty good. Yeah. Bailey Sarian, obviously, because, dark history.
Yeah.
I'm also really into makeup too. So, like, that was definitely a thing that got me through the pandemic for sure. Murder mystery makeup, shout out to that. But yeah, I'm all over the place too. Like I'm always open to new stuff. Like I'll just fall down rabbit holes. Like I'll smoke a blunt and like start watching something, and then I'm into channels that I have no idea who they are, but I'm like, this is interesting. We'll keep going.
How I found some wrestlers. I'm like, oh, I clicked on one thing. I'm like, oh, who's this? And next minute, I'm watching like all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, well, this person's cool. Let me just put this here and find some more stuff for this person. I do just all that. Not that I don't usually, I don't like smoke, but it's like the rabbit hole can be real serious when you're like really like whenever you just go through like 3, 4, 5, 10.
Yeah. And then it's like 6 hours later, and somehow you're watching like an acid trip of cartoons with conspiracy theories and Dark Side of the Ring all mad into one thing somehow down the rabbit hole.
So we are going to do a quick speed round of questions. And so I'm going to ask you something and you just tell me the first thing that pops in your head.
Okay.
Last song you had on repeat.
Oh, shit. I don't remember the name of it because it's like a newer song. It's like Fire Bit. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. No, it's going to take me out of the room if I do that. Never mind. But it's a song by Ashnikko, and the band has the name Fire in it. And the song has the word fire in it. But I cannot remember the second part of the name of the song. But I did have that on repeat walking home. And it's a good song. Next question.
Last show you binge watched.
Last thing I binge watched was YouTube, but I'm pretty sure it was That Surprise Witness TV.
Okay, okay. Snack you have to have no matter what.
Ooh, taquitos. I love gas station taquitos. I'm a slut for gas station taquitos. It's awful.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Given the nature of what I do, kind of both. Because I worked an office job for a minute or a long time, and I was up at like 5 a.m. and my body is trained to do that now, no matter what I do. So yeah, I'm both.
Worse. When you want to sleep, you're like, no, well, anyway.
Literally.
If you were stuck on an island and you can only bring 3 things, what 3 things would you bring and why?
Oh, 3 things. A lighter. Some pre-rolls, because outdoor consumption is amazing. And obviously a jug of water, because you want to be hydrated.
Hydration.
Because if you're stuck on an island nearby seawater, that's no good. That's how you trip balls.
If you could have one superpower, what would that be and why?
One piece of what?
If you could have any superpower in the world, what would that be and why?
I was thinking about this, and I still can't pick one between being invisible or not telekinesis, psychic powers, because then you could see what everybody was thinking,
Okay,
and you'd be able to act your life accordingly.
I like that. Okay, all right. I like that. That's smart.
Think smarter, not harder.
If you could talk to anybody, dead or alive, who would that person be?
I think I'd like to talk to my grandma one last time.
Okay. Right. I respect that. I like that answer. And so, what outside, like as far as going back to the wrestling, is there any promotion that you would love to get into, or any places anywhere that you would love to debut if you could?
Actually, yes. So, I've done ring crew for this promotion, but I haven't done anything else for them. I would absolutely love to do prestige, but I have to work my way to that. Also, they already have people, so the opportunity has to present itself.
Yeah.
But I'd love to do that. I'd also, I'm originally from North Carolina, so it would be really cool if I could go back and announce there. And trust me, I've already had my eye on a couple of companies out there, because I noticed Deadlock Pro. I had noticed them post about having a show in Winston-Salem, and I was like, oh, that's literally like 45 minutes from where I lived as a child. So I'm like, okay, guess I need to go back.
Putting it out there, manifesting. Let's put that in
manifesting, yes. So much manifesting in this interview, and I'm living for it.
Yes. So I wanted to give you the floor to kind of tell everybody where they can find you, but also what you have coming up and going on.
Yeah. So we've come to the second half of April, which is not as exciting as the first half of April, but here we go. As far as social media goes, I do exist on Twitter. However, I'm not there very often. But if you'd like to follow me, you can. It's Blood and Blunt and then _. On Instagram, that's where I'm most active. So I would definitely recommend following me there. My stories are hilarious. And there I am, Blood and Blunts _XO. Or you can also find me on Facebook. That's probably the second place that I'm most active. And there I'm Stevie Bae Knox. And let's see, things I have going on. So we have Roseland 5 this weekend for Prestige. I'm just doing ring crew there, helping out. And then on Sunday, I'm going to be doing Reactivate Pro Wrestling up in Richland, Washington at Joker's Comedy Club. And then the following weekend, we have DOA and we have a double decker kind of weekend. On May 6th, we're going to be at our home in North Portland. And then on the 7th, we're going to be in Independence, Oregon. So that's what I've got going on for the next couple weeks or so.
Nice. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
So I want to thank you, Stevie, for coming on. When I asked, would you mind coming from interview? I always like just trying to talk to people and kind of seeing what we're doing outside of the wrestling bubble. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a long time coming, honestly.
And everybody, I will have the links in the description. So definitely go make sure you follow Stevie, give all the support. If you are in the areas of any of the shows that Stevie will be at, definitely go check it out and support because wrestling's awesome. Hello. And if you just happen to be in the shop where the bud tending is happening, well, you know what? Spend some money, do all that.
Please tip me. Actually, we split our tips. So tip us. Please, for the love of God, tip us.
So don't do all of those things. Just be a good person. But again, everything will be in the description. Thank you again so much, Stevie. I really enjoyed this interview. It was super fun. And I'm hoping we can do this again. And hopefully we can meet in person. I feel like this has to happen.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. If not this year, Mania Week, it's happening. We're doing it. It's happening.
2024 is definitely a goal for me to get there and do something at Mania Week. And so
we're going to do this together, girl. We got this.
All right, guys. Until next time, we will catch you later. Bye.
Bye.